Hi, my name is Kim Peek. I'm a nonfiction writer, and I'm going to read a small excerpt from my memoir in progress about my Peace Corps service in Ecuador. What is she saying? My host dad asks, squinting at me across the green tiled kitchen. My host mom sighs, pitches her voice a decibel higher, and repeats word for word what I just said. My host dad nods his understanding, but we both know that he doesn't comprehend me. Not just my Spanish, but who I am. Since arriving the week before, I've caught him studying me across the kitchen table more than once, noting the foods I favor with the fascination of a scientist observing a new species. I'm the first American he's met, and my every move seems to perplex him. The week before, I'd traveled 12 hours through the mountains on a night bus so hot that condensation clouded the windows, my belongings stuffed into two suitcases in the cargo hold. I watched as the little community I'd had before, the Peace Corps staff and 60 other volunteers I'd trained with, the host family with whom I'd formed a tentative relationship, faded into the distance as our bus wound down the mountains and out of Quito. When I arrived in Loja, I sat bleary-eyed at the dining table with my new host parents, sipping a cup of coffee as the pale morning sun shone across my bare face. I looked at their solemn faces, at their gold-tasseled curtains and their worn living room furniture, and I felt bereft. After 3 months of training, I was starting all over again in a new community. Once again, I was surrounded by strangers. Once again, I was alone. Standing in the kitchen now, I cross my arms over my chest, shielding my heart from the judgment that accompanies my host dad's inability to understand me. I try again to tell him about my day at the high school, how the vice principal had once again avoided me and Elizabeth, the volunteer working alongside me. I tell him how I hadn't yet met the English teachers with whom I'd be working, despite starting my job there several days ago. What did she say? He asks my host mom again, and she translates. As my host mom slides a dimpled chicken breast into a pot of boiling water, I try to temper my own frustration. I console myself with the hope that my host dad will come around to me in the way I speak. But it's not just his inability to understand my Spanish that bothers me. I feel stupid. In English, I'm articulate and smart. An aspiring writer, I pride myself on picking the precise words to convey my meaning. But speaking Spanish feels like talking with a cork in my mouth, and although I've improved since my arrival in Ecuador, fumbling through a new language makes me look and feel simple. I hate the pit that forms in my stomach as I wait to see if my host parents will understand me. I dread the awkward silence that always follows a mistaken word or phrase. Without language, I am simple and generic. The little conversation I can sustain is no more interesting than a level 1 reader book. I am 25. I like chicken. I have one younger sister. Despite my embarrassment, I know vocabulary isn't the problem. Each time my host mom translates, she uses the same words I do. My host dad doesn't understand my accent, a fact that confounds me. Nobody had trouble understanding my pronunciation in the small community where I did my Peace Corps training. My accent was good enough for my language teacher. It was good enough for my previous host family. Why isn't it good enough for my new host dad? By the following week, my host dad's requests for translation turn into impromptu Spanish lessons. They happen anywhere my host father encounters me. In the kitchen, chopping carrots with my host mom, in the dining room, gazing up at the staticky TV mounted from the ceiling, or in the corner bedroom that my host family set up with a twin bed, a desk, and some limp curtains. The word is castillo, my host dad says, elongating the vowels and over-enunciating the consonants. Repeat it, he demands. Annoyance spikes through me as I repeat the word long and slow, pronouncing the double L like an English Y, just as I learned from my Spanish minor in college. He shakes his head and says the word again. Usted lo repite después de mí, he insists. Usted, the formal version of you, a word he's used to address me since he picked me up at the Loja bus station a couple weeks ago. Every time I hear it, my chest tightens. Usted is for polite conversation between strangers or elders, while tú, the informal version of you, is reserved for close family and friends. It's logical for my new host father to use usted. We are still acquaintances after all. Still, few people have addressed me by usted since I've arrived in Ecuador. All of the Peace Corps language facilitators use tú. Even the host family I briefly lived with during training used tú. The real issue is not that we are strangers. It's that I'm an enigma to them. Their reserved demeanor and the side-eyed glances they exchange make me uneasy. I'm new in this town, in this culture, and yet I can tell they are waiting for me to direct them, to tell them exactly what a host family should do with a mystery like me. I repeat the word back to my host father, and he shakes his head again. He literally looks down his nose at me, the whites of his eyes large over the rim of his glasses as we go around and around. Listen, repeat, correct. Listen, repeat, correct. I never hear the difference between his pronunciation and mine. When he finally gives up and dismisses me, I retreat to my room like a scorned child. Thank you.